Let's show you how we make these delicious fig slices. Well, hello all. Today we're going to make some super delicious fig tart. Oh, it's so easy to make and it's so delicious. First you have to get a fig tree, and then all you have to do is, I pick the unripe green figs. Here is my fig tree at the bottom of the garden. So here are our frozen figs thawing in the sun. So let me show you how we're going to do it. We're going to take some silver foil and we're going to cover the baking tray like this. So we're going to make the figs inside the foil on the baking tray. So there is our baking tray. Make sure that it goes all the way down like that. Now we take a little bit of oil and we just want to lubricate or wipe the baking tray so that the fig tart does not stick. So there we've wiped the tray. Now we take a cup, we take some fat spread, and I'm going to cut a reasonably small amount. I would say that's 1/10 of the cup in fat spread, because the fat spread is 40% fat. Says here 40% fat spread. I'm going to add some more oil to this, about 1 tablespoon or 2. Doesn't really matter, you can't add too much, I don't think. And now I'm just going to microwave this for about 15 seconds to melt the fat spread. You literally just want the fat spread to be runny like that with the oil. And then I'm going to get about 2 caps full of vanilla essence and add it in there. Gives it a lovely smell. And then we're going to fill this cup to half full with white or brown sugar. So there is our cup about half full of sugar. And now we're going to mix this all up. Just mix it a bit. And then we're going to add 2 cups of flour, or we're going to add flour to this and make it up to 2 cups. It's not quite the same thing. So let's just get, I'm just using the cup for measuring. Got to get this all out. So that was cup number 1. So it was basically, I would say, half a cup of flour, and this is going to be the full cup. I'm just trying to get everything out of this cup. So now we have our vanilla essence, our fat spread mixed with oil, and our 1.5 to 2 cups of flour. I just want to show you so now I'm just mixing this all in. Just want to show you the kind of consistency I'm aiming for. I want it to be kind of crumbly. So I'm just making sure that I'm not really even rubbing it in. I'm not kneading it in, but just getting it to just mix nicely together. So this literally is going to take me 1 minute to do. So that's already done. So you'll see the consistency of it is like this. And now I'm going to throw this, I'm going to spread this around the tray. Basically just to cover the bottom of the tray. Make sure that it's kind of evenly covered. I'm just spreading it out so that every part is covered, and now I just push it down with my hands, and there we go. There's your sugar, flour and oil / fat spread mixture. This is going to form the base of your tart, and there's the base. The rest of this is going to be used on top. So now these figs have thawed a lot. They're not completely thawed, and because they were boiled and frozen, they're quite nice and soft. The figs were boiled for an hour and a half and then frozen, and now I'm thawing them again to use them. So boil the figs for an hour and a half just in water, pour off the water and freeze them, and then use them. We get the tray and we just spread these evenly everywhere to try and just spread it, because we're going to, so we need all of those figs, but at least we've got those out of the way. So now I've got, so that I can't see any of the pastry at the bottom. So you see how simple that was to just cover that. Now I take the rest of my pastry and just sprinkle it to cover everywhere on the top. So the thing is to try and get it as covered as possible with your hands, placing it in position. Now there it's done. I could just move it to cover all the rest of it. You see the texture is just like a crumbly. Now I'm going to basically push it in like this. Rats. I've just remembered I should have put sugar on top. So I'm going to scrape this off. How stupid can I be? I'm going to scrape this off. It was rather dumb of me. And put it back on. When I was just remembering that this was unsugared. So rather put your sugar on first onto the figs. So we're going to take our sugar. I'm sure it'll work, not perhaps as well, because the sugar, you'd prefer it in contact with the figs, not with the actual pastry that I've made. You see how much sugar I'm placing, just a layer of it. I guess I'm going to just push the sugar in to try and get it as close contact as possible with the figs. So as I say, I would have put the sugar just on the figs before I put the pastry, the last bit of pastry on, but seeing as I wasn't really thinking, we'll just put the rest of the pastry on top. We'll see how it turns out. I'm sure it'll be edible. So figs, sugar, then pastry. And then tamp it down with a spoon like this. So you don't want it to be crumbled on top. And now we're going to pop it in the oven at 180 degrees for half an hour. We're going to place it in the oven. Near the top, we're going to turn it so that it cooks bottom and top, and we're going to turn it to, there's 200, just in front of 200, and we're going to time it for 30 minutes. So we've left it for about 32 minutes. There is our tart. I am going to just turn everything off and leave it for a further, just to cool down for a further 10 minutes. You'll notice that I didn't wait till the oven was warm, and I do wait for it to get cold as well, so I'm getting all my cooking time, and you can't cook it too much with the oven off, so just leave it for 10 more minutes, and the heat helps to cook it. So we've given this about 10 minutes extra. We haul it out. There it is. Let's put it onto our surface. And even though we done goofed, or we messed up by not putting the sugar first onto the we should have put the sugar directly onto the figs. I made a mistake of putting it. Let's just pull that out. But that still looks great. And now it just needs to cool down because it's still hot, and being hot, it's it's still a bit soft, and what one can do is cut it into its little slices before it gets cold. So it's kind of dying to try, even though there's still warm, our fig tart. Still delicious. I wanted to try it. Doesn't seem to have damaged it too badly. Tastes virtually the same. So that's how you make your lovely fig tart. Now, there was a story in the Bible where Christ cursed a fig tree, and the fig tree withered up from its roots in a day. And I remember my wife's father, my father-in-law, who was a Methodist, not that that matters, always wondered why God cursed that fig tree. What had that poor fig tree done? I think it kind of offended him that this fig tree's done nothing. It wasn't even the season for figs, it was season for leaves. And Christ curses this fig tree. So that cursing of the fig tree was an analogy of God cursing Israel. Israel, under the Old Covenant, had borne no fruit. Israel was supposed to be a model to the nations. It was supposed to show the nations how a nation under God would be blessed and happy and prosperous, etc. But they weren't, because they never were obedient enough for God to bless them long enough to be a blessed nation. So by the time 69 AD came along, which was about, Christ died in around 30 AD, and then Jerusalem fell in around 70 AD under Titus. So that's 40 years later, that fig tree, which was by analogy Israel, was cursed, and it produced no more fruit. There was no more Old Covenant So the fig tree represented ancient Israel in the Old Covenant, and it bore no fruit, and so it was done away with. And quite interestingly, that it's either, I think it's Luke 21, talks about when you see the fig tree bloom, you will know that the end is near and that this generation shall not pass away. Which many people interpret when you see the fig tree grow again, or Israel back in its national status again. That generation, perhaps, that saw the origin of this birth of the state of Israel, maybe that's what it means, will not pass away. In other words, it's going to all happen before people who were alive at the time of the formation of the state of Israel. Before those people die, the Lord will return. Maybe it means that. Don't quote me on that. But the fig tree is a symbol of the nation of Israel. So there we go. That is why I believe Christ cursed the fig tree. It was to warn and portend, as he said in Matthew 24, how Jerusalem will be destroyed. No stone would be left one on top of the other. That happened in part in 70 AD or 69 AD under Titus, when the Jewish nation ceased to be, the Old Covenant ceased. Old Covenant and ancient Israel would cease to be and would produce no more fruit from then on.